named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. From afar they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows he stands his ground. In the world of UFC he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Podcast dream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast shining so bright.
What up, everybody? Happy Saturday. UFC 316, Newark, New Jersey. I like it. I like the card. It's pretty solid. It's pretty solid top to bottom. Kind of excited for it. Looking forward to it. 316. No more YouTube. Must not have been paying attention the last few weeks. Or not watching. One or the other. But yeah, live shows are going to be on Kick. Replays will be posted on YouTube after. But yeah, for sure. That's how we're going to run it. Episode is brought to you by Big Mitts. Terry, my boy. Shit. But yeah. Thank you, everybody, for hopping on Kick. First one, solo on Kick. We were doing the simultaneous stream, but I gotta get my numbers juiced on Kick. So we're gonna do the live streams on Kick, and then, like I said, I'll post the replays on YouTube after the show's over. But if you want to win anything, you gotta watch live. So first one up, TFSP's in the chat. We're going to run the $50 gift card after we talk about Strike. So get your TFSPs in the chat. Appreciate everybody hanging out. And let's get right into it here. Let me share my screen, get into this challenge. Really just going to talk about the challenge real quick. TFSPs coming through. Thank you guys for popping on. Appreciate you. But we'll talk about this 316 challenge really quick. And there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of people that are maybe thinking about getting into multiples or dupes or something like that. So we'll break this bad boy down as easy as possible. And I think the easiest way to do it after reading through it all is to talk about the champ passes as I go through each step. I think it's going to be the easiest way to do it. Just to kind of make things a little bit clearer for people that are maybe thinking about completing once, twice, 3 times, or whatever the case may be. So, with that said, we got a multi-challenge event. It is one pretty difficult challenge, one somewhat easy challenge. And they're both fan votes, which is pretty cool. I do like the fact that they are allowing us to vote on the reward, which is nice. We always don't kind of get that option all the time. So I will take that for sure. It is going to be the first challenge will be either Kayla Harrison or Juliana Pena epic. And let's get into it right here. So in order to complete the challenge, you need to complete 4 separate steps, right? So we got 4 steps. 4 steps are laid out, and each 4 steps does have a champ pass attached to it. So let's see what we got. Step 1 is collect 1. It's not collect 2. It's not collect 3. It's collect 1 of the following epic tier moments. Those moments are Merab or Kevin Holland. And then your champ pass here is Juliana Pena. So what that means for step 1, if you have a Merab, you have 1 completion. If you have a Kevin Holland, you have another completion. If you have a Pena, you have a 3rd completion. For the people that kind of breezed through it, some people weren't aware, but yeah. So Pena counts the same as either Kevin Holland or Merab, one or the other. So if you have one of the 3 or 2 of the 3, you complete this twice. All right. Step 2, collect 1 of each of the following rare moments. So you got 5 total here. Pretty self-explanatory. No trickery like the one or the other situation on top. 5 set moments that you have to collect, have to have in your wallet. The big one on this list that we were talking about last night, Sergey, he did shoot up to over 100. I don't know if it is what it is watching. I told him, don't worry, bro. More are going to get listed. Don't worry. And sure enough, came down. It was like $115 yesterday when we were talking about it. And it definitely has come down quite a little bit since. But sitting at $80 right now. That's the tough one in step 2. I guess we could talk about Merab here and Kevin Holland. They are pretty pricey. Merab's at $320. Kevin Holland's at $200. So Kevin Holland's definitely the cheapest route if you want to go route 1. And then step 2 obviously does have a pass as well. The pass for step 2 is Sugar Sean O'Malley. So if you do have a Sugar Sean, you could skip having these 5 rares and you get a pass with the Sugar Show. So this one only has 2 outs, doesn't have 3 outs like the first one. It has either these 5 rares or the Sugar Sean O'Malley champ. You got that covered. Your step 2 is complete. Now step 3. This is where it gets spicy. Don't forget to get your TFSPs in the chat. What's up? What's up, Diamond Fists in the house? What's good? What's good? Get your TFSPs in there. Let's go. All right. Step 3 is burn 5. So had to collect 5. Now we're burning 5. You got the Holly Holm Rare, the Yanal Ashmoose Fandom, Aldana Uncommon, Pennington Uncommon, and Sugar Sean O'Malley Common. So you will have to burn these 5 moments unless you have a Merab Devalishvili champion. So if you have the Merab champ, you will not have to worry about burning anything in step 3. So you got 2 outs there. Either burn those 5 or have a Merab champ. Then, this is step 4, the spiciest one of them all. Based on the results of the fights tonight, depending on if these guys win or lose, or ladies, guys and ladies, win or lose, you will have to either hold it if they win and burn the loser. So if Sean O'Malley wins, you got to collect his rare and burn Merab. Merab wins, it's the opposite, collect the uncommon, burn the O'Malley rare. Versus Harrison and Pena, same situation. If Kayla wins, you have to hold her rare, burn Pena's common. And it doesn't look like there's any overlap in the burn section. So they're all different moments. Don't got to worry about that at all. And then if you do have a Nunes champion or ultimate, you get the pass on step 4. So there's like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, but it is quite a good structured challenge. I like it. It's pretty tough. Kind of a lot of outs though, but it's good. It's good. It's good. And then the reward will be a fan voted series 2 moment of either Juliana Pena versus Sarah McMahon or Kayla Harrison versus Caitlin Vieira. I would have liked them to add maybe if there was a finish on this fight to be added to the list, but I guess that's technically a champion moment. But it is what it is. That's the first challenge. Challenge number 2. This is where it gets a little fun. This one is 4 paths to complete instead of steps. So this first one was steps. You had to do each step to get the challenge completed. For the second challenge, it's paths. So if you do the first path, you get a completion. The second path, you get a completion. Third path, and fourth path, so on and so forth. Let's get into it real quick. Path A for challenge 2 is collect one of each of the following moments. So you got a few guys that are fighting. Chaos Williams uncommon, Azamat, Bautista, and Kevin Holland's rare. You have those 4. Bada bing, bada boom. You get a completion. For the second path, if you want to start burning some stuff, if you burn any 2 of the following moments, you get a completion. So it's any 2. Any 2. Mix and match. Doesn't have to be a certain amount. It could be 2 Joe Pfeiffers. It could be 2 Joshua Vans. Any 2 of these folks here on this list, Joe Pfeiffer, Joshua Van, Wang Kong, and Waldo Cortez, you do get a completion as well. Path C, one of the following epic tier moments. If you have either one of these epics from step 1 as well. So if you have Merab or Kevin Holland, you get a completion as well. And then we also have the champ passes for Merab and Sugar Sean O'Malley. If you have either one of those champs, you will receive 2 rewards. And then each path can be completed multiple times for multiple rewards. And then the reward is we get to vote on 4 different finishes. And then also if any of the following fighters get a finish, they'll automatically be added to the fan vote. So this could get interesting based on how these fights play out. And if somebody gets a crazy, spectacular finish, and that one's going to be minted to a minimum edition size of uncommon multiple times for multiple rewards. I didn't. Epic fan vote. Minimum each completion will count as 1 vote. Yeah, so this is multi-complete as well. I don't know if there's a cap. 3 times. There's a cap of 3. for the first challenge, and then there's no real cap on the other one. So pretty interesting stuff. Pretty interesting stuff from Strike this week. I was hoping Flovana was going to be updated, but it doesn't look like it's updated yet. It is what it is. With that said, I'll just briefly touch on what we still have outstanding from Strike. And then we'll get into this fight card. And don't forget to get those TFSPs in the chat because we're going to run the first giveaway, that $50 UFC store gift card right here in a minute. So get them TFSPs in the chat. But yeah, outstanding rewards. We're waiting on Prates versus Gary reward. So that was the Prates rare. We're waiting on the 315 challenge rewards. That's the Katona Uncommon and the Bilal Muhammad Champion. Then we are also waiting now on the Michael Morales from a few weeks back. And then here we are today with 2 more added to the list. So these are both fan voted. We don't know which ones we're getting yet, but we'll see. We'll see. So another epic and an uncommon will be added to our outstanding list after this weekend. So with that said, get your TFSPs in the chat, y'all. Because we're gonna go through the whole fight card, top to bottom. Top to bottom. TFSPs in the chat. And I give it another couple seconds here. Let's see who's going to win this gift card. And the pay-per-view code. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good luck. Code is gift card is going to 05. Congrats, my man. Congratulations, bro. That's what's up. That's what's up. Let me get the second one teed up. Let's do 316 in the chat for this pay-per-view code. It's ESPN Plus US pay-per-view code. Get your 316s in the chat, and we will run that at the end of the show once we finish talking about this card, baby. This is going to be a good one. I mean, some of these names might not pop off the screen. Not a lot of big names on the card, but I think honestly there definitely is some heavy favorites, but I think it should overall be a pretty solid card. Should be a pretty solid, fun card. Some of these prelim fights are pretty fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This card starts in about 4.5 hours. Get your 316s in the chat, and let's get right into it down here. First prelim of the night, Markel Medeiros versus Mr. Choinsky. And we got Mr. Choinsky making his UFC debut. Medeiros was actually supposed to fight last week, and he was the guy who had the fight called off against Oki. Balaji Oki, I think he was supposed to fight Oki, right? Everybody was hoping Oki was going to knock him out. And he got either sick or something. So there's a couple guys on this card that had to cut weight twice within the past week. So I'm not really a fan of those guys performing well this weekend. And Mr. Medeiros is one of those specifically because he's actually the guy who pulled out of his fight last week. On paper, he's probably a little bit better in some areas, but I don't know, man. I think Choinsky, he's the champion at Anthony Pettis's promotion, and he trains at Rufus Sport with Pettis and all those guys. So he trains with some pretty good guys, pretty good wrestlers. A lot of subs on his record. A lot of subs here. So I'm kind of leaning on him. I'm kind of leaning on him, especially with some of the health concerns from Mr. Medeiros. Even though he's sitting at almost minus 200 favorite, Choinsky was also in camp. It's not like he came off the couch. He was in camp, getting ready to defend that belt for the Pettis promotion. I think he had a fight scheduled like next week or something. But yeah, I think Choinsky. And then you guys seen his record. He's got a bunch of subs on his record. And I think Choinsky's probably definitely a better wrestler than any of the guys that Medeiros has fought. And like I said, when you're fighting a wrestler and you're having some, coming off 2 weight cuts, I don't know, man. It's tough. It's going to be a tough one. I'm leaning on Choinsky. Leaning on Choinsky to get it done early, and I kind of like that subby. Next up, Quillen versus Ash Moose. Very interesting fight here. I think as long as Quillen doesn't get caught with any heavy shots, I think he pretty much wins this pretty easily, man. He's pretty slick. He's good on the ground, really good on the ground. He's got some good hands too. A lot of power from Yanal Ashmouse, but he's not had a good run either in the UFC. He's been getting knocked out versus Quillen's been on a pretty good run here after he's come off the Contender Series, had that first round knockout against Jubilee, which was quite the meme. And yeah, he's coming off a few losses, and then he beat Peak his last time out. Not too bad. Yeah, I don't know. I think that size is going to be a problem. You can see here 6'5'9", 75 inches in reach versus 69. Yeah, I think Quillen should be able to take care of business. Hopefully this card does. Yeah, I agree. I think there should be some fun fights. All things considered, but yeah, I think Quillen gets it done as the favorite in that first one. Let's see some of these props. Subbies +3. KO 475. Fight goes the distance. They kind of 50-50 with that one. Jika Sergey versus Mr. Zombie Jr. The Zombie Jr. making his UFC debut. A lot of people are very high on him, as you can see by the -600 tag next to his name. And rightfully so. He's pretty slick. He's good. He's probably technically definitely the better striker. Would worry a little bit about like his defensive wrestling and stuff like that. Really haven't seen him tested in that regard, but I think based on some of the stuff that I saw, some of the highlights, he's pretty slick. He's good. He's tough. He's gone a few fights that were pretty like gnarly wars to the distance. So his gas tank has been tested. And yeah, I think let's take a look at Sergey. He's had an up and down career in the UFC after he came off the road to the UFC. But would like to see him a little bit more active too. So he's coming off a sub, hasn't fought in a year. For a prospect, not fighting as much is interesting. I don't know if he was injured or something like that. I think he was supposed to fight maybe a week or two ago, I know, but I think he's another guy that might have pulled out of a fight. Maybe was it him? Could have been him. But yeah. Could have been. I think it is him. But yeah, I'm leaning on you. I'm leaning on the Zombie Jr. Leaning on Zombie Jr. to get it done here. And then our last early prelim is Ariane De Silva, formerly Lipsky, against Wang Kong. De Silva missed weight by 6 pounds, which was pretty wild. And she does give up some. I mean, she gave up 30% of her money to Wang Kong. But it's pretty crazy, dude. It's pretty crazy. 6 pounds, and they still let her still took the fight and let her fight. But I guess there was a serious medical issue with the whole scenario. But it's gonna be interesting because I think Lipsky, she's they're pretty evenly matched height and reach. You're going to have a little bit more volume coming from Kong, but I think Lipsky's probably a little bit more technical, not as much as doesn't leave herself as open as Kong does. And Kong's probably going to want to I think if I was Kong, I'd probably want to take this to the ground a little bit, but Lipsky does have some okay subs. It's going to be an interesting fight. It should be a fun one. I think these odds are pretty damn wild for the fight. It should be a lot closer than that. Let's see. Kong by KO's plus 170 is pretty wild. Take a look at the schedules here. Jasmine subbed her. Karina Silva lost unanimous decision. Sub against Casey O'Neill. Some pretty decent competition. Kong definitely, I don't think, has faced anybody that caliber. Bruno Brazil, Fernandez, Leonardo. Yeah, they're pretty much like neck to neck there. A lot more experience. On Silva's resume here. A lot more experience. 27 fights versus 8. And she's younger. This one's ripe, dude. This one's ripe for a nasty upset. And she didn't have to cut all that weight. I don't know, man. If it's going to be a mainly standing fight, this could get really, really tricky real quick. That experience ain't no joke either. 31 years old, 2 years younger than her. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think I don't know, man. I kind of like De Silva shocking the world on this one. We the two are dirty as hell. Oh shit. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough. Cuz I lean on strength of schedule and experience heavily. And 27 fights ain't no joke, man. 27 fights ain't no joke. Yeah. Take some plus action on Silva. We'll go with Silva, shocking the world. Then we move into our main prelims. Don't forget to get your 316s in the chat. Going to be running that pay-per-view code at the end of this. Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. So here's another guy that this is the guy that was cutting weight twice. So he was supposed to fight last week. Fight got called off. and he cut weight twice, and now here he is on his second weight cut against a different opponent, Chaos Williams, who is kind of tough, man. He's kind of a tough out. I think Gustafson probably had an easier matchup last week than he did this week. But his main thing here is going to be to try and control Chaos Williams. He does like to do a lot of work against the cage, but he had a better chance of doing that in the Apex last week than in a full scale octagon today. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough. Cut weight twice as well. Odds makers are leaning on Chaos a little bit. Kind of like it as well. He's got the reach, pretty much same height. He's got a 3-inch reach advantage, about 3.5 inches. Main thing here is going to be him trying to implement some grappling. If he can get him down and keep him down, or keep him against the cage, is really going to be the main thing here. But how does that gas tank hold up, especially after cutting weight twice? You're supposed to make, he was cutting weight last week for his fight. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to bet on him. It's tough to bet on him. Yeah, kind of liking Chaos Williams in this one, just for that whole situation with this weight cut scenario. So I'm gonna roll with Chaos. Yeah. Like I said, he does his best work when he's holding guys against the cage, the clinch stuff. But a lot easier to do that in the Apex versus the big cage. But you never know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But I just think with the double weight cut, I gotta lean on Chaos Williams. Next up, big boys. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Sergey Spivak. Yeah, I mean this heavyweight division's pretty weak right now. So it's pretty much like whoever's gonna be winning and getting on a 1-2 fight streak, like bam, you're right there, dog, for the championship, within a fight. So Costa's on a pretty good run right now. I think he's like 3-0 in his last, and his 3-4-0, 4-0. 4-5, 4-1 in his last 5. So he's been on a little tear here. He's coming off some good wins. Some boring fights. A couple people didn't like his fights against Arlovsky or Despain, but did get a win against Span. Can't really say too much there. Span usually is a light heavyweight. Came up to fight heavyweight that one fight, and the Brewski fight was pretty decent. Hasn't done too well against really good grapplers, though. He hasn't really fought a lot of heavy grapplers his last few matchups. Here's the last fight he had against a grappler, DeLima, and he didn't do too hot. Versus Spivak, who's an excellent grappler. And as you can see, it's going to be shooting takedowns and probably wearing down Costa. I think I do like Spivak to win this one. His sub is plus 250. Might be an interesting one to look at there, because he could probably definitely get it done. But I think he probably gets it done mainly with control. Maybe goes to decision, but I do think Spivak's going to probably win this fight, just because that grappling is going to be the big neutralizing factor. And he knows how to implement it very well. He's fought the top creme de la creme of the heavyweight division: Jailton Almeida, Marcin Tybura, Cyril Gahn, Derek Lewis. I think Tom Aspinall's somewhere on here. There he is. He lost to Aspinall. But he's fought the best of the best, man. He's got the experience. And I think Sergey shows Waldo that, there's a little bit of a gap here, and he gets it done. Next up, Undefeated Azamat Mirzakhanov versus Brendan Ribeiro. Don't forget to get your 316s in the chat. Pay-per-view code up for grabs at the end of the show. So Azamat, undefeated, 36 years old, doesn't look like he should be winning, but always ends up winning the damn fights, bro. What's going on? 5'10", 205. He's for light heavyweight, he's tiny, right? He's going against these 6'3" dudes. 10-inch reach disadvantage here. It's wild. It's wild, but he just is a very, very hard counter striker. Very hard counter striker. Waits for the guy to overextend and blitzes as hard as he can almost all the time. Doesn't even like he'll throw in the grappling here or there once in a while, maybe just as a defensive tactic, not really to try and get any offense in there. Just to either get a guy off of him or like if he's losing a little stand-up exchange, he'll get the grappling in there to throw the dude off and reset. But it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough because he keeps freaking winning. Keeps freaking winning. Keeps 1,200 plus on his subby. I don't think he subs people too often either. Ribeiro's pretty solid. He's young. Up and down UFC career. Lost to the Mountain Tiger after he got his win off of the Contender Series. Couple losses. Split decision win over Machado. And he had a submission victory over Nurgaze. Yeah, I don't know. I think Azamat's probably fought some stiffer competition for sure. Also some tall, lengthy strikers as well. Some pretty big dudes. Jacoby's a good one. Menefield. He just doesn't lose, man. It's tough. It's tough to go against them. It's tough to go against them with that experience. It's got a tougher strength of schedule. He's fought some tougher dudes, I think, than Ribeiro. So minus 700 dog or favorite, my bad. Pretty wild. They do not think the fight goes the distance. And they think it ends by Azamat KO. Pretty gnarly. But yeah, I think it's tough. It's tough. The age gap is pretty significant, but we've seen it before with his fights where he's just, even against the younger dudes, he just finds a way to win, man. He finds a way to win. I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done as well. Last prelim of the day. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Should be a fun one. Should be a fun one. Should be a fun one here. 35 years old versus the 23-year-old. So you like age gaps? Got a nice one for you. Never felt it. 12-year age gap here with Joshua Van and Bruno Silva. Though I do think Van's probably going to win this fight. Everybody knows this guy's a pretty slow starter. He doesn't come out, crazy. And he's looked like he's been in the lab working on his grappling for sure. So I think he's going to definitely be faster. Bruno might steal around, though. Bruno might steal around because Van, like I said, is known to be a little bit of a slow starter. At time, he usually is a slow starter, kind of getting his reads and feeling the fight out before he starts getting his offense together. But that minus 800 could shrink down a little bit. if he loses the first round, or takes his time as usual. So maybe you could get a better price on him. But I definitely think he's going to win, especially with the improvements he showed in his last fight. I think he's going to get it done and keep on the up and up after a couple of those tough losses he had. But I think those were good losses to have, to learn from. The energy loss was a big one. There's a lot of grappling in there. So, yeah, he's been looking pretty good. And he looks like he almost knocked out a few of these guys, and then they ended up like weathering the storm and making it out. So, hopefully, he puts it together, gets a nice signature finish on his resume, and keeps it moving on the up and up for him. But yeah, I'm rolling with Mr. Van. And like I said, maybe you could catch a better line on him as the fight plays out a little bit, because he does tend to take his time in that first round. And with that said, we move on to the main card, the pay-per-view. Don't forget to get your 316s in the chat. Pay-per-view code up for grabs. Is this Luke Holland fight still on? Do we know? Do we get any update on that? Kevin Holland was on Twitter talking some crazy shit this morning, so everybody was wondering whether or not the fight got axed or what the hell's going on. But I guess I'm gonna proceed as if the fight is still happening. And with that said, man, it's tough. It's a tough one. Holland's pretty good at 170 because he definitely has really good size for the division. 6'3", 81-inch reach, so he definitely got some size and reach here. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough fight. I think Luque's path to victory here is trying to sub this man, but in his fights lately, he doesn't really. Most of his subs and his grappling come when he is either somebody shooting a takedown on him. He's not really offensively trying to shoot takedowns or get people to the mat. He typically, like I said, he'll wait for somebody to initiate the grappling, then, try and lock in a choke or do something along those lines. That's usually how his subs come. But who knows? Who knows? It could be a different fighter now. Definitely has some power. We've seen him knock people out before, but after that war he had with Jeff Neal, kind of like he's kind of it's weird. It's weird with him because he had the nice, really quick sub against Themba, but the fight before that, like he just like curled up in a ball and kind of gave up against Buckley. It was so weird. So he's had a little bit of an up and down situation since that Jeff Neal loss, and it was a hell of a war. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me to call here. Tough one for me to call. Kind of like Kevin Holland stays active, but man, he always did get that sub against Olashashek, but against some tougher grapplers, he doesn't have the best time. And I don't know if Luque is going to be trying to grapple with him. That's the thing. If Luque is going to try and stand and bang, I think Kevin Holland's going to piece him up. If Luque is going to try and grapple and clinch, then he has a shot to win this fight. But based on how he usually fights, he's standing and banging. I think Luque probably going to lose this one unless he gets some sort of I don't think he's going to change up his approach. So I think based on what I've seen on tape, Kevin Holland's probably going to win this fight. it's mainly going to be a striking fight. And I think as long as Kevin Holland doesn't shoot for any takedowns, he'll probably be safe in the regards of the submissions because, like I said, Luque typically does not initiate the grappling exchanges. So I'm going to roll with Holland. Next up, Bautista versus Mix. Don't forget to get your 316s in the chat. Couple more fights and we're running that code. Patchy Mix making his UFC debut off of Bellator champ, ex-Bellator champion. Couldn't get a fight. They let him go. And here he is, fighting one of the most hated men on the UFC roster, Mario Bautista. He has a chance to do something extremely special here. Extremely special. Unbelievably special. He could win over a whole fan base if he knocks this guy out. Honestly, I think he can. Think he could do it. Think he can do it. Maybe. He's bigger, taller, same age. Fought some pretty tough guys. Bautista coming off the fight that everybody hates him for against Aldo. Split decision. But he has been winning. Not the most exciting way, but he has been winning. He has been winning. You could say the same thing about Mr. Mix here. Has been winning as well. Winning that belt over there. Had a split decision win. So he did have a close one against Magomedov out in Bellator, but he's been winning, man. Trains with some killers. Pretty good all around. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bautista gets it done. What are they thinking? Moneyline. They think mixed by subby or by points. They do think the fight is going to go the distance. It's tough. Mixed by KO is plus 1,200 if anybody's feeling lucky. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting one. What's our record looking like on these Bellator guys making their UFC debuts? How's the record? Chandler won his debut. Pitbull lost. Who else we got? Pico still to be determined. Anybody else that I'm missing? I don't know. Man. I'm going to roll with Mix. Takes the fan base from everybody. Everybody jumps on the Mix bandwagon. And he's a guy that's, could probably shoot up to, mix things up in that top title shot picture at 135, with Merab having beat everybody almost damn near. So, yeah, I like Mix hopefully getting the win and then shaking things up at the top of the division. Let's go Patchy. Next up, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer, rebooked from, when was it? Mexico City? A couple weeks ago. Joe Pyfer ate a bad burrito or something. He was done. Couldn't fight. Out of commission. So here we are. Fights rebooked here. 316 in Newark, Joe Pyfer's backyard. And yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Gastelum's sitting at a pretty heavy dog right now. Stats are pretty close on both these guys, except for the size. Pyfer, it's got like 3-4 inches on Gastelum, height and reach. So he is pretty explosive. Don't know how well Calvin's going to do being able to either hold this guy down, slow him down, wrestle him a little bit. Tough fight. Tough fight for Gastelum. Very tough fight for Gastelum. And did lose against Hermanson, but pretty much has been able to get every other person out of there relatively quickly. Also does have some sneaky subs, so don't be surprised if Calvin is known to do some stupid shit in his fights, some bad IQ plays here and there. And maybe Pyfer sneaks in a little subby. You never know. But I am definitely leaning on the younger Pyfer. I just think, I don't think with the size advantage that he has, and then also he does have some pretty good ground game, groundwork. It's not like he's a novice down there. He's pretty solid down there. Any bad positions, I feel he'll be able to reverse or get back to his feet relatively quickly. And I think Pyfer gets the job done. And we move into our co-main event. Don't forget, get your 316s in the chat. Stone Cold said so. We're going to run this bad boy at the end of the show. Pena versus Harrison. So, Harrison did not look too good on those scales yesterday, guys. So, I'm approaching this fight with caution. It's going to be interesting to see because I think, if Harrison doesn't get her out of there in the first couple rounds, shit, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Juliana's a dog. She's tough as nails. She's tough, man. She's tough. She'll take a beating for 5 rounds and keep coming back for more. We've seen it time and time again. She does have a 3-inch reach advantage, which should help her out with that jab she likes to throw. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Miss Harrison operates at, having to cut to the absolute max here for the first time. See how that gas tank holds up. She's definitely taller, more imposing for sure. See how she does. It's probably going to be a lot of grappling here, I'm guessing. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I think if Kayla does not finish her early, like I said, in those first couple rounds, after when round 3 starting, it's going to be very, very interesting here. They got Harrison as a -700, rightfully so. If you look at the weigh-ins, the pictures, all the memes have Brock Lesnar's entrance music on every Kayla Harrison hype video. So it's gonna be interesting. I just think if she doesn't get Pena out of there early, she could probably maybe pull some crazy shit again like she did against Amanda Nunes back in the day. So Pre-fight, I'm going to have to go with Harrison. But yeah, I think this is one you kind of want to keep your eyes on live just to see what might happen. And last, the rematch of the century, the one everybody's been waiting on. How about it? The Sugar Show makes his return. Getting a rematch against Merab the Machine Devalishvili. Defending his championship belt for the second time. Second defense. First one was against Umar. And now he's getting his rematch against Sugar Sean. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not really much here to say for me. It's going to really much come down to is if Sean O'Malley can show us anything different. That's really what it comes down to. How has his game evolved with the grappling? Is he going to be able to not let Merab take his ass down? Is he going to be able to keep getting back up to his feet or, neutralize the grappling threat? Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting fight. I want to see. I mean, he's been talking a lot, saying he's in the lab, saying all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope for it to be true, but based on what I saw in the last fight, it's really hard for me to kind of roll with Sean O'Malley, especially after we seen what Rob did to Umar as well. It's tough, man. It's tough to kind of this guy's. Unless, like I said, Sean's gonna have to come in here and shock us. He's gonna have to be a Dagestani version of Sean O'Malley, which I don't think he is, but it's tough. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but based on the previous fight, you kind of got to roll with the machine here. The Merab, the machine. Merab by points is minus 175. Fight goes the distance, yes. So they think it does go the distance. Sugar Show by KO is plus 400. It's probably that's got to be the only way you get rid of the Merab is by killing him, I think. And you got to knock him out. And he's hard to catch, too. He's hard to crack because he's very jumpy in there. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Would it be crazy if Sean O'Malley does pull it off? Absolutely. But based on what I seen previously, I gotta roll with Merab. Gotta go with Merab. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your fight card for today. With that said, get your 316s in the chat. Last call. Pay-per-view code up for grabs. Last call for the pay-per-view code. I'll give you guys a couple more seconds to get in there. And yeah, should be a good night. Should be a good night of fights. Don't forget to get your pick'ems done. Verdict. Strike does verdict now. Got them in my Discord server, still live. Don't forget to get those done. I know poker's going to be starting up probably in a little bit here. So get registered for that. And with that said, let's run this code. Good luck, everybody. Let's see who gets it. And the winner is Chef Curry. My man. Congratulations, brother. Congratulations. I appreciate everybody hanging out today. Thank you, guys. Don't forget, get your Kick stuff situated because that's where we're going to be live going forward here on Kick. Until next time, I am out. Peace.
The guy named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Break down the fights, every punch and kick. Analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. Listeners from afar, they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode, his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows, he stands his ground. In the world of UFC, he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Podcast stream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word, he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast, shining so bright.